the game here is, I'd say, 50% psychology and 50% like working on your inner game. And it's only 50% working on the actual game,
Mm,
right? I mean, if you look at professional athletes, right? Tennis players, golfers, Olympic athletes, right? A lot of this is in their head.
yeah. I was just listening to a podcast about Federer on the Founders podcast, and the switch for
Hmm.
him was entirely the inner game. He had the talent, but it was the psychology, it was the mentality that was actually bringing back. So yeah, how do you,
Wow.
how do you, how have you worked on your inner game? For people listening to this, what are some things that have worked well for you? Do you feel like you've always been very strong at it? I'm sure you've evolved it from wherever it was pre investing in making that side of you better, but what are some things that have worked really well for you to get you to that point where your inner game is dialed in?
I say it's always a work in progress. I don't say I don't want to pretend that my inner game is
Yeah, of course.
great, because I consider myself still at level one. And the Dalai Lama perhaps is the role model. If we could all be like him, then that's like the pinnacle, right? Um, but I'd say I've come a far way over the past 5 years. And I think the first thing you recognize is when you're going through a tough time in your personal life or business life, it doesn't matter. When you're going through a tough time, learning to be grateful for that challenging experience, and to say, I am learning how to get through tough times. And this is part of that growth, that spiritual growth. That's the first step, right? And so, but you're struggling, you're in pain, right? So what do you do, right? Like for me, when I started picking up morning meditation and nighttime meditation. And I just go to YouTube now and I just find, okay, who resonates with me. And Joe Dispenza is probably one of my favorite experts on this, about, mindset and energy, and also somatic therapy. So I have a few somatic coaches and therapists I work with who help me be more in tune with my body. And I think being more in tune with your body means you're more in touch with your intuition. Being more in touch with your intuition means you make better decisions, right? So that's another thing I'd recommend. And to find one, just literally go to ChatGPT and say, "Find me a somatic coach who takes my insurance and lives, in my city." It's literally what I did. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Also, highly recommend EMDR therapy as a way to hone in on the skill. Have you done EMDR therapy by chance?
I have,
Um,
no, I haven't. I don't even know what it is. What? Maybe explain what it is.
I highly recommend it. So EMDR therapy, you're using bilateral stimulation. So like it could be a buzzer, left hand, right hand, or rapid eye movement, where it's like your left eye, right eye, or you're tapping like this. And you're processing through feelings that are
Wow.
perhaps a bit challenging. And the therapist guides you through this process and helps you take things that are heavy for you. Like I feel like I've let down my employees because my business is failing and I had to let go of all my friends, right? That was my experience in 2012. And if I had EMDR as a tool, instead of cycling on that story over and over again, you know how like when something bad happens, you just get fixated on it and you're obsessed,
Yeah.
right? We all have this problem. But if you do EMDR on that, then at least for me, I'm more likely to be able to fully let it go very quickly. I
Mm,
don't get stuck on it
wow.
anymore. And if I don't get stuck on it, if you don't, if imagine if every issue that you ever got stuck on and fixated on, everything that ever bothered you and pissed you off, you could just like work through it and be done being bothered by that forever,
That'd be insane.
almost immediately. You would be unstoppable. You just move on to the next thing and just like slay like no one else's business,
Do you have to go
right?
somewhere for that, or you do it at home?
No, just do it on soon. I'll send you my person if you want.
Dude,
And
that's
also
crazy. Yeah.
I found one who takes my insurance too. I went to Gemini. I'm like, "Hey, find me an EMDR therapist who takes my insurance."
Crazy. Crazy.
I know. Yeah, so you just block off an hour a week with this person. You learn the process, and you could do it on your own at any time when you're having like an experience,
Yeah.
like someone didn't deliver their project to you on time, and now you're fuming and you're like going through the rabbit hole of like, and then you're catastrophizing. Oh my God, my business is going to die because this one person didn't deliver this project, and then I won't be able to feed my children, and then they're going to starve, and they're not going to go to a good school, right? Like you kind of go through that full loop, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to answer your question, how do we collect these different tools, right?
Mm,
Like for you, like since you haven't done EMDR, if I leave you with only one thing, it's do EMDR. Find a
mm.
therapist and hire them at least for like 4 weeks and see if you get improvement. You like within 1 session or 2 sessions, you should feel immediate impact and just be
Well,
like, wow, this is mind blowing technology,
yeah.
that all of us humans have access to.
Yeah, yeah, for
Just do it for
sure.
4 weeks. It'll change your life.
Well,
Um,
there you go, guys. You heard it here first. EMDR therapy is the hack.
EMDR. Like, there's only one thing you remember from this podcast. It's do it, do it, do it, do it. Give it a try. Yeah, I don't know. How about for you, Bilal? Like, what are your favorite tools for the inner game if you had to share?
Um, Sports is a big one. You know, I play like a lot of tennis. I feel like just exerting and having those like there's something very intense to do, right? Like when you're about to hit a tennis ball, it's like you're all in. That helps.
Yeah, that's great.
Um, and a form of meditation, like I pray, right? So like a form of meditation as well is good.
That is great.
Um, and
Powerful.
and action just cures anxiety. I found, like when I'm feeling anxious about something, I'm just like, what am I anxious about? There is a solution for it. Let me just go do the solution. And then I'm fine
Yeah.
for the most part. And it's like really big. And it's like, okay, it's gonna take like 3 to 6 months to solve. Then I'm like, all right, now I'm super anxious for the next 6 months. But just being proactive, I think is like, I feel like a lot of people just stay stagnant. And it's like, just move forward, keep moving forward. Everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Just work towards it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you asking me.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing all that. That's awesome.